This is Factory Fridays from boats.com, the show where we visit builders across America to get a first-hand look at their boat building techniques, materials, and stories.
Hi, I'm Marilyn DeMartini with boats.com, welcoming you to Factory Fridays here in Green Cove Springs, Florida, the home of Frontrunner Boats. And I'm here with Phillip Mahn, the CEO and partner in the company, and I'm pretty amazed that after being in this facility for a week, you've got so many things going on here already.
Yeah, fortunately we got really good at moving. 3-year company, we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary at the Miami Boat Show this year. 3 years ago we were spraying our first hull. And so in 3 years we've moved 3 times. Some people say in manufacturing 3 moves is equivalent to a fire. It felt like it, but we got good at it. So last week we moved and it stung a little bit, but you got to shut down for 5 days and you know, you show up. I'm fortunate, I own a few other businesses and we've got semis, so it was just like all hands on deck. I mean, my families were here and all our friends that are watching the company grow were here, and we moved everything. Luckily, only about a mile from the old shop, so everything kind of moved kind of quick, but it took us a little bit to get organized.
But you went from a 10,000 square foot
10,000. Then we went into about 30,000 square feet between 2 buildings, and now we're in 90,000 square feet between 2 buildings.
So tell us about what's going on here and why this move was so important to your company's growth.
I mean, we grew a little faster than we probably planned, but things were going in the right direction, so we kept pushing we had a business model and a business plan. This is where we're going to start, this is where we see the end goal, and we just kept kind of going. There was opportunities for tooling when there was a resin shortage or an engine shortage, you know what I mean? It was like, well, we don't want to lay guys off because we can't get product, so we tooled new models. With the new model, the growth came, and all of a sudden we're staring down a barrel of 7 models, and it's like, man, we need floor space. So we had originally decided on a different building than this one that we were working with the county on that didn't come to fruition, and luckily the option to purchase this facility became available, and we jumped on it as fast as we could. I want to say from the time we pulled the trigger to the time we were in the facility was about 12 weeks.
Moving at speed is part of your DNA at this company.
Just get it done. We're doers here. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're fortunate. We have a lot of good staff and a lot of good people that are part of the brand that have kind of just had all the experience, and they kind of help you navigate some of the pitfalls that they've experienced in their careers, and it makes big jumps and big leaps a whole lot less riskier and a whole lot easier to do.
Well, and you've brought a lot of good people into this company, and notably is your naval architect. There's not a lot of boat companies that employ a naval architect on staff. Yeah,
we couldn't be happier to have him. You know, he spends a lot of his time on the Volano stuff because that's really like his cup of tea, but it's really nice that he's just, I can pull on him real quick and he'll be over here to help us navigate something or help us change something or modify something. So.
Well, let's talk about the 2 lines, because you started out with a 39, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you progressed in...
It was 39, 36, 47, 30, or 26, 33, and then now we have the 37 cat coming.
Let's walk through the process of how you build your boats here, because even your center consoles seem to be kind of like mini sportfish.
Yeah, we try to call them, we used to have like a running joke when we owned boats. It was like, make it like a mini Viking or something, you know what I mean? Because center consoles serve a lot of purposes. I always tell everybody, if you have to have one boat, it's probably going to be a center console because it can scratch a lot of itches. You can still get, I personally right now have my 39 Frontrunner in Costa Rica, and I'm still catching Grand Slams, I'm still getting my blue marlin bites, I'm still getting all my sailfish. I can do everything, maybe not to the level that the big sportfish guy can, but at the same time I can throw them in and the kids in the boat, go right to the sandbar and have a good weekend. Right. So that we cater to that market. We've got some product that caters to like the wahoo gentlemen and the mackerel fishermen, but we're blue water fishermen without a doubt. I think there's 19 39s on the water, 2 of them don't have towers. The rest are tower boats with big riggers and teaser reels, the whole 9 yards. So we like it.
And towers is also something that you're bringing in-house as well in this new facility, correct?
Yeah, we were fortunate. John Owens with Darkwater Customs was kind of like starting his business when we were starting our business, and he's always been like a family member to us. But he's a crazy family member, but he's extremely talented. And now we're looking to bring that business of his in-house with our business to just be part of the Frontrunner and the Volano brand. We've got enough tower work for him, so it makes sense.
Well, why don't we walk through this process? Where should we start?
I think the best place to start is in lamination, where everything begins.
Let's go. I always know that I'm in a boat factory when you can smell that resin.
Yeah, sometimes you kind of get blind to it. I have friends that come by and they're like, holy cow, you just kind of get used to it. But this is our lamination shop side. This is a very scientific, delicate process if you want to do it right. The morning starts off at 5 a.m. The gel coater comes in, and usually the night before he's already prepped the mold before he left, and then he'll start his gel coat process, whether it's a 2-color or single color. We shoot all gel coat at 22 mils. You'll know a good gel coater when he's got a mil gauge in his hand while he's shooting. And then the next step would be to wait for all that to gas off, and we start doing our what we call our chop, or our mat. You know, we start with an ounce or 3/4 ounce, and then 2 1/2 ounces. And what we'll do is, you know, we've got these molds on these big rotators. It makes it a lot easier and a lot safer for the employees. But they'll do one side first, and then they'll let that kick off, and then they'll come back and they'll roll it and do the other side. It's a very inefficient process if they're just standing there watching it dry. So what we try to do is we try to shoot two parts at a time, so they can go to the next part and they can actually work the day kind of in quarters back and forth. They're also really good mold builders, some of the laminators. So like we might have a small mold that we're building that we'll stage for them to work on that day, just to make sure that their 8 hours is as productive as can be. You know,
and you've got a lot of people working here.
114 to date right now. So between the 3 facilities, yes ma'am. So from here, they'll lay up all the chop, and then we'll rotate the mold straight, we'll pull it off its casters, and we'll set it on the floor, and the next process is the infusion process.
And let's go see that next.
Check it out. So over here, we're in the infusion process. We typically keep the whole molds right where they're at. This is where this thing was gelled and skinned. The process is delicate. We basically load all the product in one time. All the heavy, the coring and the heavy. We have something that we feel is a little bit proprietary to what we do. Our last layer on the transom goes up the whole sides, down the transom, across the stringer caps, and it is a carbon band. And we just like that for a little extra insurance, a little extra rigidity. So they load the thing, they put all the consumables in it, they put it under a vacuum, and they do what they call a drop test. And then once the drop test is good, that morning we'll shoot, the next morning we'll shoot. So the lead man of that crew will come in the morning, and we do what we call a gel test. We do that when we're skinning a boat or whether we're infusing a boat, but we're in Florida and the temperature can fluctuate 20 degrees real quickly. So we'll do a few gel tests that morning, so when the guys come in, they know what their catalyst ratios are, and we can get to work and we can shoot the part in one shot. It usually takes about 30 minutes to shoot it, and then about 55 minutes to kick off.
Well, this is the part of boat building that really becomes more like a science laboratory.
Right.
And I see that you've got a lot of test work being done.
We do. That's a big part of quality control. Is just, you know, there's things in the boat business that you don't make. We don't make the composite material, but we have to test it before it goes into our boat. Obviously, with the resin shortages that were happening last year, everybody was getting creative, and you end up with this science lab where normally it was like, these are the type of resins we use this for infusion, we use this for hand land, and these are the catalysts. And it became a time where it's like, well, this is for small parts, this is for big parts, this is for this, and we became like the science fair project for all these companies, but we had to do it. I mean, we had to know what was going to go in the boat and that we weren't going to have any post-cure issues, or sometimes you can get resin that doesn't kick off. The infusion process is delicate. It takes a smart individual to do it. We have thrown a boat away before. It's painful to take it out of the mold and take a chainsaw to it and throw it in the dumpster, but it's the right thing to do when you make a mistake.
But you brought people in to your company that are specialists in this kind of work.
Yeah, a lot of the mechanical engineers we brought on board, and a lot of the guys that came from other companies, they really specialize in infusion. When we first started infusion, hulls 1 through 9 of the 39s and hulls 1 and 2 of the 36s were all hand-laid boats. Everything after that was infusion. So we ramped up infusion really fast. I would say out of the 40 boats that are out there right now that are infused, we had to throw 126 away one time. And that really wasn't an infusion problem. That was a timing situation where we shot it that night and then left it on a timer, and the power went out in the area, so we lost the vacuum. So now, like I was telling you, we always drop test at night and we shoot in the morning. That way, if we have a shortage, we can fire the generator up and get the thing back under a vacuum. So. Well,
that kind of attention to detail is what's brought your first-time customers back for second boats.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. There's a lot of reorders. People going from the 36 to the 39, or people that had a 39 and say, hey, I think I want something a little smaller. But a big part of our business and our success is our clientele base, without a doubt. They help make the product better. They help showcase the product very, very well, and they're repeat customers. So for me, it's like I know what I'm getting when you know Alan Stevens comes back or the Gettys come back, because I've built 3 boats for them already. So for us, it's good.
But let's go see what's next in the process.
Yeah, we'll go to assembly. So over here is my favorite part. This is when this thing really starts to become a boat. This is our assembly side and rigging side. So the boat comes from the lamination side already with the fuel tanks in them, the fish boxes in them. One thing that we do that's really cool is we actually insert the fish box in its cavity and then we foam fill it. Okay. So every box in the boat is insulated. Yes, ma'am. We feel like it also gives us a little bit different ride too. Like the boat sounds a lot more solid when it hits the water. There's a lot less stuff that can move around. The fuel tanks, they get foamed in, they get glassed in, then they get a nice aluminum strip that goes over the top as well. It's kind of like a 3-point system for us, like 3 ways of securing it in. The foam actually holds it the best out of everything. So. And
then you have conduit that's laid over the fuel tanks.
Yes, ma'am.
To accommodate the engine?
Just a 4-inch vinyl gutter, you know, but we put them on, we glass them in, and it accommodates all the rigging that goes through. So your rigging is in a tube, so if you have to add something later on, everyone knows what that's like, right? It's easy to get in and out, run chases through. It's really easy for our guys rigging. It just gives you a clean, nice setup. You know, we run fuel lines in one and we run electrical in 2 other ones. So we separate the 2.
And what you've got to do with rigging for these much bigger engines now, I understand you're rigging a boat with 4 600s?
We actually have 6 47s that are getting quad 600 applications. But yes, that's kind of where the carbon came from in our transoms. It is an 8-inch thick transom on the 47 to accommodate having a quad set of 600s on the back. We do, on the 39, something that we like to be proud of is most of the systems are in the console. So this is the 39 we have back here, and it's got the trim tap pumps, the chargers, the freshwater, raw water, the power steering, the master, all that is in the cabin. And the only thing that's in the bilge is the sea chest and the live well pumps.
So you keep anything that's really corrosive or potentially
far north as we can,
in the console
to the front of the boat.
Nice touch.
Yes, ma'am.
So where do we go next?
We go to assembly where they set the decks and the rings.
Let's go.
So we're coming into assembly.
This is a hub of activity.
Yes, for sure. It gets really busy right here. This is where we set our liners and our ring caps. So the process will start off, we get the ring cap and the liner out of PI. We'll drill all the holes for the rod holders, the cleats, the speaker holes, the water fill holes, all that stuff. We'll put in our Gemlux hardware, our JL audio speakers, all the stuff, all the quality components that we use in our builds. Our deck liners are acrylocked to the stringers. So we use a product called Acrylock, and it sits on the stringers and bulkheads, and then we come back through and we pull fillets on the radiuses on the outside of the liner to the whole side, also the knees. So a liner is bonded to the deck, the stringers, and the knees on the whole sides. Then we come back and we set the ring cap on, and we bond the ring flange, we through bolt the ring flange, and then we actually bond to the top of the knees on the inner liner.
So it's one solid piece.
Solid piece. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in that process.
Let's take a look inside.
Absolutely. So we're in final assembly now.
So there's a lot of progress here, but still a ways to go.
Still a ways to go, yeah. It usually spends about 7 to 10 days in this part. The 39 spent about 14 days here. This is where it's like the customer can see the image now. We get the hard tops on, we mate the wiring from the console to the rest of the boat. We get the upholstery in, the leaning post in. The electronics are usually in the console by the time it's at this stage, if the customer is getting electronics. And this is where it really becomes a boat. We hang our Mercuries on the back. We're big fans of the Mercury product. We think it showcases our boats very well. So we put that on, we get the propellers on, we get the trailer underneath it, and we have 2 stages of what I would consider somewhat of a QC. We don't like to use the word QC because we always do the inspect versus expect mentality, but Mark or I have to run the boat. You know, it's our name on the boat when it goes out there. We're usually the one that gets the phone call if there's something wrong. So we'll do the preliminary sea trial with me or Mark, and then Mike Hayes, who runs the shop, and then the 33 and the 26 have a lead guy, and the 36 and the 39 have a lead guy, and the 47 has a lead guy. So the lead guy comes. It's very important that he's there because anything that they're missing or a mistake that was made, he's got to basically relay it down the line to the guys where the mistake happened. We do Gantt charts here, and we do what we call journals with the boat. So it tells us where the boat's at in every stage, what product was used, and who did the product on what day. So we can go back and find out if we have a ball valve leaking or the wrong silicone used or 5200 used in a certain area. We can go back and see who did it, when they did it, and go have a discussion with them to try and make sure it doesn't happen. Our goal is the punch-out sheet for the first sea trial goes on the boat that's the beginning of the line to make sure that that doesn't happen again when it gets to the end of the line.
That's real quality control.
Try to, I'll say, knock on wood, our warranty backlog is really minimal. So a couple gel coat things here, it's, small components, but overall a good experience for us on the warranty side. And then we'll go through and fix all those QCs. We'll do what we call like a punch out on like finish work and stuff like that. And then the boat's ready to get run one more time to make sure everything was done that was supposed to be done and delivered to the customer.
Well, let's go see a boat that's ready to go.
We got a 39 ready to go to customer tomorrow.
All right. Well, this boat looks like it's ready for the Front Runner logo.
That's right, that's where it goes. The last thing we put on. This boat is basically ready to go. It's going to Jupiter, Florida. This is kind of where we make sure it's got all its safety gear, dock lines, its fenders, its Front Runner logo fender pro system that we make standard in all our boats. And we got a couple of grease pencil marks where we want the finishers just to touch her up a little bit more, and it's ready to go to its new home.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a happy customer. So thanks for joining us here on boats.com on Factory Fridays. We're going to look forward to coming back when everything is reorganized and the new sportfish line is ready to roll.
All right, look forward to having you. I'll give you a little fist bump. You still have a good arm.
Thanks for joining us on boats.com. We'll see you again soon.
This is Factory Fridays from boats.com. Follow boats.com on YouTube and Instagram to stay tuned for the next episode. Visit boats.com for more videos and boat-related content. Boats.com. Everything boats.